Hello, and welcome to another edition of Churchism. Churchism is the thoughts and ideas of me, church. Today, I bring to you a question that was asked of me by one of my sisters. And my sisters, they tend to ask me a lot of questions about relationships, so I tend to have this passion towards relationships. So, the question was, why do I believe that it's hard for the black woman to be able to find a man? Now, my response to that question is what I will put on Churchism today is, I believe it's hard for a black woman to find a man today because some of the ideas that, or some of the language that is used, but you don't mean what you're saying. So I basically gave the advice that let's first change our language. And when I say change our language, I mean she used one word to describe her that I've heard multiple women use. And it is saying one thing to a man that you think it means one thing, but the definition definitely says exactly what it means. That word was independent. She says, I'm a strong, independent woman who can't find a man. And I said to her, I said, well, the first thing that you said wrong was you're independent. And independent means, well, what I asked her, what does independent mean to you? She said, well, I provide for myself. I have my own house. I have my own car. I have a great job. But I don't have a man. Understood. In your own house, in your own car, and a great job, believe me, you are an outstanding catch. She looks great. She has a job. She has her own house and her own car. But that's not what independent means. I proceeded to tell her. She seemed stunned. But when I said, well, let's look up the word independent. And what we did, and I'm going to look it up with you all too. And what we did was I pulled up dictionary.com on the app on my phone. And I typed in the word independent. And the first thing that pops up on, the first definition that pops up for independent is not influenced or controlled by others in matters of opinions, conduct, etc. Well, a marriage, you're working as a team. You're not independent. You work as a group. In a relationship, you work as a group. It's a teamwork. So if you're independent, then you don't work as a team. So went to the next definition. Not subject to another's authority or jurisdiction. So now, because you have your own house, you're not subject to somebody else's jurisdiction. And because you have your own job, you have your own house, you have your own car, you're not subject to a man's authority. And she proceeded to tell me, no, she would submit to a man. She would submit to her husband. Great answer. But that's not what you're saying. So then I said, if you look at definition number 6, it says, to rejecting others' aid or support, refusing to be under obligation to others. So now you're telling me that you're refusing to be under the obligation of a man. That's not what I'm saying. And I know that's not what you're saying. but that is the language that is being perpetuated to the opposite sex. A better choice of words. Well, before I give you a better choice of words, if you don't believe me, it's almost like saying nigger and nigga. A lot of people will tell you it's the same thing. And some groups will tell you, no, it means this is empowering you and this is the derogatory term. It's based upon argument and it's based upon who you're talking to. Now, there's no way you would go to a person, a high authority, and use nigga. It's just not going to happen. Now, you can use it towards your friends, people who don't care, but when you're in the place and you're trying to get work conducted, you don't use those terms. It's the same as independent. You don't use it when you're trying to get a relationship. You use it when you're staying single and being by yourself. A better term that could be used is you're self-sufficient. Now, let's look up what self-sufficient means so you don't think I'm pulling this out of a hat. Self-sufficient definition is able to supply one's own or its own needs without external assistance. Now that's what you're saying. So when you're looking out here and you're yelling you're independent, you're really trying to say you're self-sufficient. But independent is a strong word. Whether the guy who you're trying to date knows that or not, in the back of his mind, he understands the language that you're using. So today, here on Churchism, so that you find a man, change your language. Change it for the better of you. Change it for your brothers. They may not know what they're looking at, but you're all beautiful women that bring so much to the table. Now, on this edition of Churchism, I just wanted to talk about those words, independent and self-sufficient. I know I know you women are self-sufficient and you're not independent. Especially if you're a biblical woman, you definitely are not independent. You're self-sufficient. Independence is what was sold to Eve in the garden by the serpent. And I will break out the Bible verse. I will give you the verse that I based that idea upon. And it doesn't say it in the Bible verbatim like so, but I will give you the Bible verse if you just email me at churchthewriter.com, churchthewriter@gmail.com. I apologize. Church at Facebook, Church the Writer at Facebook, or Church the Writer at Twitter. I can give you the definition, the scripture that I based that idea upon. Now, don't hold that to any biblical scholar because I will debate it with them also. It is there. Believe you me, I love Genesis 1 through 3. So I will challenge any, or I will debate with any biblical scholar, any, you name them, you bring them to the table, tell them, talk to me, send me, and I will come, we will have this discussion. If I'm wrong, I will come back on the show and admit I have been schooled differently. So, but that's what studying the Bible is all about. Becoming better, becoming a student of the Bible, not trying to convince people that is your way, but being a student. So, sisters, let's start using a different language. Let's use self-sufficient. Independence is a strong word that destroys. Self-sufficient lets me know that I have a teammate that can handle their own. Thank you for visiting Churchism.